Right, Houston, we have a problem. So when I took the door off, the engine compartment door has two hinges. One goes into this little hinge holder here that's welded in. But in order to actually get the door off, this hinge is not welded in, it's actually screwed. So there's a screw that goes up into here. Now the trouble is, when I was taking this off, the screw that was holding it in was quite an old screw, and at some point when someone's been working on it in the past, the screw had been completely stripped, the screw head, meaning that none of my screwdrivers could actually get any kind of purchase on the screw to get it out. So I tried everything. I tried all of my different screwdrivers. I actually shaped the ends of one of my screwdrivers to try and fit. I did the old, covered it in WD-40 of course. Tried screwing it with rubber bands and pieces of rubber just to create some traction with the screw head, but that failed. And in the end I tried grinding across a new strip, so you can see some nasty grinding in here. I tried to grind across the screw to create a new purchase for the screwdriver. There just wasn't enough of it in there to make that work without actually grinding all the way through this, which of course would be no good. So in the end, to get the door off, I actually, I wish I hadn't now, but I drilled out the screw just so I could get it out. So I drilled out the screw's fallen out, could take the hinge off, I fixed the door, and we've done all this work. But now I need to get this back on. Trouble is, the nut is up inside this little hole here, and I can't get it out. I can't get to it at all. It's all completely encased in metal. So the only way I can remove that bolt is to actually cut a hole in the metal here, or above it, probably here, remove the bolt, put in a new one, and screw it in, and then I'd have to put a plate back on here. Now obviously I want to try and avoid that if I can, so I'm going to see if I can get to this bolt some other this bolt some other way, and this nut some other way, or otherwise I'm going to have to cut the plate, cut a hole in the Kombi and get it out, and then put a plate back in. Not sure what to do. I've tried taking out the remaining shards of screw from inside. I've got some of it out, but not all of it. But what I've found is, I found in my nut collection, in my toolbox, just this nut that seemed to fit, and I've screwed it in. It's holding really firm. I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm not sure if it's screwing into what remains of the old screw, or whether it's actually fitting into the actual thread of the nut itself. But either way, it's holding quite firm. So I think I'm just going to go with that. Trouble is, this one that I had in my nut collection had a rounded head, and rounded head will stick out so the door won't close. So I've been down to the local nut and bolt shop called Metro Bolts, and they found me this thread of the same screw but with a countersunk head. That's going to fit beautifully into here, and that's going to screw up into there. So I'm pretty happy that that's going to hold. We'll find out later. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to have to get a tap and die set, or a tap set, and drill that out a bit more, create a new thread for a new screw, get a different screw, and that will work as well. So either way, I think I've got a solution to that now, so I'm happy with that. So now I just need to renovate this little hinge just here, where I took some big divots out of it when I was trying to cut through the screw, so I'll put some weld in there, tidy it all up, deoxidise paint, and then we're ready to go. So final bit of assembly for the rear compartment door. The door's obviously done quite a while ago now, so that's great. We've managed to fix the problem with the hinge, which is fantastic, so I'll fix that up in a moment. I've cleaned the seal, and that's gone back in here quite nicely. I cleaned up the little number plate light that'll fit it up in here. The hinge is all done, that's been repaired, welded and primed. So now it's just assembly time. Well, that was all quite satisfying. We've done all of this work down here, tidied it all up, got everything done, the doors all beautiful, they're all reassembled. Job's a good one.